Welcome to Intentionality with Dominique, the show that helps business owners become valued and in-demand suppliers in the marketplace to scale their businesses. Let's start today's show with host and intentional connector, Dominique Simpson-Milton.
Welcome to another episode of Intentionality, the show dedicated to improving the success rate of entrepreneurs and their businesses by helping them become successful suppliers. I am your host, Dominique Simpson-Milton, and today's show is being brought to you by CVMSDC, also known as the Council. We are an economic growth engine for ethnic minority business owners and serve as an advocacy group to help minority business enterprises with certification, development, connection, and advocacy. A holistic approach to your business is critical for your success. Today, we will unpack the meaning of holistic and talk to two business owners that specialize in the wellness of your business. Through my experience in building businesses and working as a CEO of CVMSDC, I have identified 4 problems that most businesses have in common. Number 1, it's a lack of contract opportunities, finding open doors and being able to win those contracts. Number 2, a lack of capital, startup capital, as well as your cash flow. And number 3, an inability to scale, to win larger contracts and to survive when contracts close up. And finally, number 4, overall readiness, which includes coachability and the ability to pivot when needed. Today, we will touch on all 4 areas with our guests as we look at a holistic approach to businesses that include risk protection. I am excited to welcome Angela Webb and Walter Davis, founding partners of Partners Risk Strategies, to the show. Hello, it is great to have you both here with us today. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you.
Welcome, Walter.
Thank you, Dominique.
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, for our viewers, explain what you do, Angela.
So Partners Risk Strategies is a risk management consultancy and an commercial insurance company. And so what that actually means when we talk about risk management, we help companies look at their businesses holistically, from how you run a business, how you operate a business. We help you identify risk in the business, and then sometimes you mitigate that risk by using insurance products.
Interesting. So most people are just trying to run their business,
That's
right? They're not thinking about the whole aspect of the holistic approach to the business and what could go wrong.
That's
right?
it. That's it, right.
So Walter, tell me why you all started the business.
So that's a good question, Dominique. First of all, we're 2 former bank executives, and our third partner, founders, bank executive as well. So we've seen just about everything you can see in a business from a bank's perspective. And so years ago, when we were with Wachovia and with Nations Bank and Bank of America, respectively, got a chance to run some pretty big operations and got a chance to see kind of how fee income versus interest income works and all of that good stuff. And then we started our own bank. We grew a bank from 0 to $2 billion in assets.
Wow.
Actually, the largest Black-run bank in the history of the country. And so when we started this new venture, we said, there's an opportunity for us to take a look at how we really help businesses. You talked about capital, which is sort of one of the foundational elements of businesses. But when you begin to think about scaling, the whole risk piece, the risk element, people forget about.
Sure.
And large companies get it. Large companies think about risk and control, all of that good stuff. But down the stream, smaller business, they forget about it. They just want the cheapest insurance sometimes.
Absolutely.
That's what you think about.
Yeah.
But what are you getting when you get that? And so part of reason we started is because 1, it's a great opportunity, it's a need, but 2, it's a moneymaker. Quite frankly, business is in business to make money.
Yeah, and let's talk about it being a moneymaker, because a lot of people say, okay, I'm going to get insurance, burial insurance, right?
Yes.
But other people,
don't do that.
Other people buy insurance to pass on wealth. So now we're talking about
Exactly.
insurance for your businesses. Talk about how insurance can help you build wealth in your company.
That's a great question as well. So when you think about, I talked about people usually looking for the cheapest form of insurance. When there's a catastrophic event,
right,
you wish you had the best insurance.
Sure.
And so understand the risk that you're willing to sell off to the insurance company versus the risk that you're willing to keep and mitigate and manage is totally different. And so when you talk about making money, part of it is sometimes offloading that risk to insurers can become expensive. And so we help you figure out what should you offload versus what should you maintain.
Okay.
And how should you manage that? And so if there's a low probability of your business being affected by certain catastrophic losses, we help you sort of understand what the cost of that is. It's called the total cost of risk.
Total cost of risk. Okay.
Yeah.
So Angela, help me, give me an example. So like if you have a business of 5 people in the business and the CEO passes away and you don't have insurance to cover that, that's a huge risk,
That's
right?
a huge risk.
So talk about that.
And so there's actually products that are out there where business owners can purchase these products and set up a retirement fund. And so during the course of the time where you're owning the business, you pay into this product, and then the owner can retire and then receive payments for the next 20 years.
Right.
And so it helps them, prepare for their family, helps them prepare for retirement. And then there are other products where they can actually pass their business on to someone else.
So that's a whole approach to succession planning, right? And it should be part of everybody's strategic plan.
Absolutely.
Okay. But again, back to most businesses, they're just trying to function day to day, right?
That's right.
My daughter's a dentist. I'm like, okay, are your hands insured? Because if you can't
Absolutely.
operate, then
That's
you're not going to get a paycheck,
That's
right?
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right. Okay. So how does a business go about finding out what type of insurance they need and figuring out what's cost effective? I guess they have to call you, right?
They have that. Please call us. Please call us.
That's right.
And you want to take a holistic look at your business. And so often people just take a look at, their business assets. It's what are you building? What plan do you have? Have you looked at it from a strategic perspective? So what are you doing today? What are you doing tomorrow? We help people take a look at their risk soup to nuts, right? So it's not just your basic covering your products or your assets, but we help people take a look at what risk is around the corner.
Okay.
What's my reputational risk?
Okay.
What's the environmental risk? What is media and social media risk? What's my human capital risk? What's my balance sheet risk? And so we help people to take a look at it from that perspective, because typically what happens, as Walter said, people will underinsure themselves because they're looking for the cheapest coverage. But we want people to holistically look at everything that could cause harm or affect your business.
Right. So, I mean, you've talked about areas that I didn't even think about, right? Yeah. So can you tell me a story of someone that you've helped with insurance? And our viewers love to hear stories.
Stories are always good.
Yes.
So let me think of a good story. So there is a business in the real estate development space. And so generally speaking, when people think about, oh man, I'm developing real estate, how do I make sure I get the cheapest, go back to the cheapest coverage again? And they don't understand the complexities of what might occur depending upon the geography you're in. We're fortunate enough to operate in multiple geographies around the country, so we understand the environment. And this whole thing around ESG, environmental risk, it's a big deal. I mean, things are getting warmer. Places are getting warmer, and people sometimes don't think about it. And there's a client who we convinced to get a certain type of insurance. I won't go into the complexity of it. And they're like, I don't know if I need to. Well, because of the warmth and the geography they were in, they had a mold issue.
Oh, wow.
And so had they not been insured, as we had advised them, then that would have been very costly.
So all of their products were destroyed, and so they were covered.
It gets into the wood, gets into everything.
Wow.
So yeah. So again, it's an opportunity to think about it, because most of the times you're not thinking about the weather's warmer, what might happen, or if there's a flood, if there's wind damage, or whatever the case may be. And again, it can become catastrophic.
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of you use the term, a lot of our viewers aren't aware of that, and I'm trying to educate them on ESG, environmental, social governance. So people need to understand why that's important, and why you need to understand that as a business owner, so that when you're talking to potential clients, you can service them and address those questions that they might have. And asking questions like, are you fuel conscious, right? Is your operation green? Are you using green packaging? So all those are important questions that are asked from corporations. Okay, so back to this insurance risk, right? So what sets your company aside from other companies?
Our talent.
Your talent.
Our talent. Our talent and our experience. So we have a fundamental belief. First of all, people need to know you exist.
Yes.
Secondly, people need to know your capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And third, people need to know your experience. And so what we've put together is an experienced, talented group of people that we really think are the best in the business, quite frankly. So let me give you an example.
Yes, please.
So I told you, Angela, myself, our third founder, we're all former bankers. And so what we did when we founded the company, it's actually part of our parent company that we founded, Peachtree Providence Partners.
Okay.
And so we call it the three-legged stool. And so Peachtree Providence Partners, another leg of the stool is 3P Advisors, which is an investment arm, investing in businesses, real estate, et cetera. The next piece is 3P Advisors, which is consulting to everything and everyone you can imagine there. And this third is this risk piece. So we're able to look at things a little bit different. And so when I talk about the talent, one of our recent additions was a gentleman who used to run all of risk and insurance for Amazon.
Okay.
And before that, Northrop Grumman.
Okay.
He was named one of the top 20 risk people in the world. Hired a young lady recently as well. She came on board as part of the team. She was with AIG. She ran all of specialty for North America.
So your team is powerful.
There you go. So, so when you look at diversity of thought and experience in the team, put the team up against anyone. I mean, we've got another gentleman who, he's an engineer by trade, but he's a former insurance broker as well. And so he can look at your real estate, your facilities and everything, the things that you don't think about. And say, okay, let's make sure that we're providing for anything that might happen unexpected. And have the funding for it that we might not want to insure today. And so again, it's that view. And, I look at it from a credit and a lender standpoint, from a debt perspective, how is your business running today? And, do you have the financial resources to withstand something that might happen, the unexpected?
The unexpected, like COVID, right?
COVID.
Right. So what happened during COVID? How did you help your customers during COVID?
Well, we helped them think about their business differently. Some of our customers are in the higher ed space. So we help them to think about their students and bringing their students back to school. We help them think about their air quality that's in the dorms. We help them think through work from home and how difficult that was for many, just in terms of cyber and how important cyber coverage was for them.
Okay, good. So what I'm hearing, I'm a business owner, right? And I come to you and you're going to look at my business and then you're going to consult with me on the holistic view for my business. I need to be looking at X, Y, and Z. And then in addition to that, Dominic, you need to be insured to cover a myriad of possibilities, right? Yes. So talk about the cost effectiveness, because you got some listeners who are saying, okay, I'm a startup business. I can't even fathom what you're talking about, right? And then you have others, multi-million-dollar businesses who are thinking about, okay, I'm going to buy this other company and I'm going to bring them on. Should they come to you before they get ready to buy the company and get your advice?
Definitely.
Okay. Talk to me about that.
I mean, think about our customers range anywhere from 5 million in revenue a year to
billions,
literally billions.
Okay.
And so one client is a household name, but they're a $20 to $30 billion private equity firm.
Okay.
And so we are their outsourced risk manager.
Excellent.
Yeah. And so we actually manage the insurance brokers for them at that time, understanding what risk the company wants to take. If we're going to exit a business or we're going to purchase a business, here's the way we go in and take a look at that business prior to make sure. Okay. I mean, there are things that you might not think about every day in the M&A space, mergers and acquisition space. Right. And so having someone in who's looking at this thing and saying, okay, what are the risks? What are the operational risks that we might run into? Because operational risk is a big deal.
So before you even do that.
You do that, and all risk isn't covered by insurance.
That's right.
Because I thought about the question you asked, because if you can't afford it, that could be okay. But we help people look at their operation. Are there things that you can do in your processes to improve what you're doing, to improve efficiency, to reduce losses, so that you don't need insurance for that? Yes. And so all risk isn't covered by insurance.
Yes. Okay. Understood. But also, I'm also aware that a lot of insurances will pay for themselves. A lot of times you look at it and says, I can't afford to get that. But really, you can't afford not to get it. Right? That's right. And then there's ways in which you can manipulate insurance so that it ends up paying for itself. Like the example you gave earlier, somebody's getting ready to retire, it's covered. The premiums that they're paying are covered. Explain that a little bit more for our listeners.
So a couple of things there.
Mhm.
One is we have one academic institution whose president, they love the president.
Okay.
And the board said, we want to do what we can to make sure it's not just a retirement for
Right.
him. What can we do to put the kind of money aside, but we don't want to hit cash flow
Okay.
too much. So we came up with a product. We didn't come up with it. It's a product we brought to them in the marketplace where they actually use their balance sheet as a loan to buy insurance.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, and to buy the insurance.
Right.
And over time, that insurance increases in value, and such that when the president retires, he gets a cash flow stream. But when he dies, all the money goes back to the school.
Back to the school.
Yes.
So now you created an asset out of an
That's-
insurance policy
That's
and
right.
created a stream of income.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
that's
Okay,
exactly
that's
right.
powerful. That's
Yeah.
powerful. So again, you're dealing with businesses who are $5 million and over, right? And you help them assess the complete need that they have in terms of risk insurance.
We do.
Okay.
We do. And if you think about it, we call ourselves, we make you market ready.
I like that. I like
Okay?
that.
We make you market ready because we call insurance carriers the market.
Okay.
And so if you just fill out an application and send it to an insurer, we send it to the insurer, they might just see what they see on paper.
Okay.
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 But for us, when we come in, we say, hey, let's make sure we're looking at this risk in a different way
Okay.
so that we're able to explain it
Okay.
to the markets in a way such that they go, okay, they're doing all the right things to manage this risk. They've got you helping them mitigate the risk. So let's make sure the deductibles are right and all of that good stuff. And okay, now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So when should somebody call you?
If you own a business, you should call us
Okay.
because we want to help you take a look at your business. Another example we have is we have a client who loved their broker, their insurance broker, loved them, thought they were doing a really nice job for them. We went in and asked them to take a look at their policies. We wanted to make sure that they were covered appropriately, that the exclusions were known, and we actually went in and saved that customer $1 million.
Wow.
Year over year.
Wow.
We improved the coverage, we reduced the cost, and we provided more protection for them. So if you own a business, you should call us.
If you own a business, you should call your company, and we're going to give you information on how to contact you. So Walter and Angela, we talked about the 4 main issues that I see with businesses, most businesses that are common. What do you see, each of you, what do you see as the most common problem that businesses face?
One of the most common problems businesses face is not having the right partners. So you have to have a good banker, a good attorney, and a good accountant.
Okay.
It sounds simple, but a lot of people don't. And so I can tell you there's this thing called phantom income that you can get into in accounting where it's going to be big taxes without the cash that goes along with it. You look to scale your business, you want to make sure you've got relationships prior to scaling when you need capital. A big mistake people made is, oh, now I want to grow, or oh, I need money. Now I'm going to get it. No, go get it when you don't need it.
Okay, that's what I didn't want our viewers to miss, right? So it's kind of like having your own board of directors.
Exactly.
So name
That's
the 4
right.
again. Name the
There's 3. It's your banker,
your banker,
your accountant,
okay,
and your attorney
banker, accountant, and attorney on your
Yeah.
team.
on your team.
Yes,
That's it.
And in your phone, like you have their numbers on speed dial.
Every single one. Let me tell you, to this day,
Absolutely.
banker, accounting, and attorney, banker, accountant, and attorneys, we talk to all 3 of them all the time.
All the time.
Yes.
Perfect. Angela, what would you say is your response to that?
Not having a good business plan.
Ah.
I think a number of owners start the business because it's a great idea, but they don't have a complete plan. We need to think about, who your customers are, where you're going to do business, what your service is, who your team is, who you're hiring.
Right.
And so having a really good plan and having a 3-year plan and refreshing that plan on a regular basis is important.
So the key there for me, you have the plan, but you got to refresh it. Refresh
Absolutely.
it as you need to. Refresh it based on what's going on in the economy and what your customers are calling for. Right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, thank you all so much for being here today. It has been a pleasure talking to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you for
delighted.
having us.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. So if you are interested in more information on the services that Partners Risk Strategies provides, please email awebb@partnersrisk.com. Well, that concludes today's episode of Intentionality. Be sure to join me for our next episode. And remember that we must always remain intentional to gain knowledge, skills, and connections so we can grow and thrive in business together. I'm Dominique Simpson-Milton, and I will see you next time.
This has been another episode of Intentionality with Dominique, brought to you by the CVMSDC. For more information, please visit cvmsdc.org.